Let's get straight to the point. Point number 8, the everlasting light bulb. Picture yourself in 1901 screwing in a light bulb that your great-great-grandchildren will photograph for Instagram. You're thinking you've made a smart purchase. What you've actually done is accidentally destroyed an entire business model that would have kept your descendants employed making replacement bulbs for the next century. The Centennial bulb in Livermore, California has been burning since 1901. Over 120 years of continuous glow. That's not a triumph of engineering. That's a corporate horror story with a visible filament. Think of it like this. You're running a restaurant, and you accidentally create a meal so nutritionally complete that whoever eats it never needs food again. Congratulations, you've just invented your own bankruptcy. That first customer, your last customer. The Centennial bulb is that meal, glowing smugly in a fire station, mocking every Home Depot light bulb aisle in existence. You probably own 17 lamps with dead bulbs you haven't replaced because you'll get to it eventually. Meanwhile, this 123-year-old bulb has outlived its inventor, the horse-drawn carriages that passed beneath it, 2 world wars, and probably your enthusiasm for most of your personal relationships. The live webcam pointed at it has more consistent uptime than your commitment to your gym membership. The bulb's carbon filament has demonstrated more resilience than your New Year's resolutions. At least your failures have the decency to die quietly. Point number 7. Nokia 3310, the phone that survived everything except market evolution. You're holding a phone that could stop a bullet, survive a nuclear blast, and probably outlive the cockroaches. You feel invincible. What you've actually got is a product so durable that Nokia accidentally eliminated their own customer base, one indestructible brick at a time. Imagine breeding the perfect immortal pet that never dies, never gets sick, never needs the vet. Sounds beautiful until you realize you've destroyed the entire veterinary industry, pet medicine manufacturers, and the therapeutic value of the grief growth cycle. The Nokia 3310 was that immortal pet, sitting in drawers worldwide, still holding a charge, mocking the fragile glass rectangles we now drop into toilet bowls monthly. You've definitely got one in a drawer somewhere, probably still at 80% battery, a monument to the engineering integrity that killed its creator. It survived your teenage rage throws, your washing machine, and that time you definitely used it as a projectile weapon during an argument. Snake 2 was more addictive than your current social media habit and somehow less damaging to your attention span. Your current smartphone has a 2-year survival rate worse than a mayfly's life expectancy. Point number 6. Craftsman hand tools, the warranty that became a nightmare. Imagine walking into a store, breaking your wrench, and getting a free replacement, forever. No receipt. No questions. Just infinite wrenches. You think you've discovered a cheat code. What you've actually found is a company slowly suffocating under the weight of their own integrity. The plot twist nobody saw coming. Craftsman's legendary lifetime warranty actually worked. People would bring in tools from the 1950s, rusted, abused, sometimes just a handle, and walk out with brand new replacements. This wasn't marketing fluff. This was financial self-immolation disguised as customer service. Picture running a gym where your membership guarantees access until death, you never charge again after sign-up, and members actually show up every single day for 50 years. Your initial revenue burst becomes a decades-long resource drain. Craftsman's warranty was that gym membership, except instead of treadmills, they were replacing socket sets for the grandchildren of original purchasers. Sears died partially because they kept promises nobody expected them to keep. Point number 5. Google Glass, when working perfectly, makes you a social pariah. You're wearing the future on your face. Augmented reality, hands-free everything, instant information access. You feel like a cyborg. What you've actually become is the person everyone assumes is recording them without permission, the creep at the bar, the reason glass holes entered the dictionary. Google Glass worked too well at its core function. The problem wasn't technical failure. It was that society wasn't ready for face-mounted surveillance that actually functioned seamlessly. Every feature that made it powerful made it socially radioactive. Imagine inventing a device that reads minds accurately but makes everyone around you deeply uncomfortable knowing you have that power. They avoid you. Bars ban you. You're asked to remove it constantly. The adoption rate was inversely proportional to its actual functionality. The more seamlessly it integrated information overlay, the more aggressively society rejected the wearers. Point number 4. WD-40, the miracle product named after 39 failures. You spray it on a squeaky hinge. It works. You spray it on a stuck bolt. It works. You spray it on literally anything. It works. You realize the can says water displacement 40th formula. They failed 39 times, then created something so universally effective they couldn't focus their own marketing. WD-40 was developed to prevent corrosion on Atlas missile outer skins. It worked perfectly for that. Then employees started sneaking it home. Then it worked on everything. Hinges, zippers, removing crayon from walls, silencing squeaky shopping carts, loosening rusty bolts. The company couldn't niche down because their product refused to stay in its lane. Imagine breeding a dog specifically for herding sheep, but it also instinctively does your taxes, fixes your Wi-Fi, and makes excellent souffle. Congratulations, you can't market it to sheep farmers or accountants or IT professionals or chefs. It's too good at everything to be the best at anything. WD-40 is that dog sitting in your garage, solving problems it was never designed to solve. The product's versatility exceeded the company's ability to explain what it actually does. People use it on squeaky hinges while actual lubricants sit unused beside it. They succeeded so hard at chemistry they failed at capitalism. A3. Crocs. Ugly shoes that weaponized comfort against fashion. You slip them on. Your feet are enveloped in a state of pure, tactile euphoria that borders on the sublime. You look down. You're wearing what appears to be Swiss cheese designed by someone who hates beauty. You've just chosen orthopedic comfort over social acceptance, and you're weirdly okay with it. Crocs worked so perfectly at being comfortable that people willingly sacrificed aesthetic dignity. They were designed as boating shoes. Instead, they became the footwear equivalent of giving up, and people loved them for it. Picture creating a car that gets 500 miles per gallon and never breaks down, but looks like a dumpster welded to a shopping cart. People would still drive it. They'd endure the mockery because the practical advantage overwhelms the aesthetic disaster. Crocs are that dumpster cart on your feet, making nurses and chefs and suburban parents choose comfort over the judgment of their peers. The shoe's ergonomic perfection exceeded society's tolerance for ugliness, then exceeded it again, then people stopped caring. High fashion tried to ironically reclaim them. The irony died. Now they're just shoes. They won by losing the only battle that should have mattered. Point number 2. Velcro, the fastener too convenient for its own good. You hear that ripping sound, and something closes or opens instantly. No tying, no buttoning, no zippers catching skin. Pure efficiency. What you've witnessed is a fastening technology so effective the fashion industry had to actively resist it to preserve the illusion of sophistication. Velcro technically hook and loop fastener. Velcro is the brand name worked flawlessly. Too flawlessly. It was fast, secure, reusable, and required zero dexterity, which is exactly why high fashion rejected it. Haute couture needs difficulty. It needs buttons that require effort, laces that demonstrate patience, clasps that signal you have time for finesse. You've definitely worn Velcro shoes as a child, probably judged adults wearing them, then quietly appreciated them on a medical boot or sports brace. The technology never failed. Society just decided convenience was for people who'd given up on impressing others. Sometimes working perfectly is the worst thing you can do. Point number 1. Toyota Hilux, the truck that humiliated planned obsolescence. You're driving a pickup truck. You crash it. It still runs. You drive it into the ocean. Still runs. You set it on fire, drop it from a building, leave it on top of a building you then demolish. Top Gear literally tried to kill one and couldn't. It still runs. You've just encountered engineering so competent it became Top Gear's most famous episode and Toyota's most complicated marketing problem. The Hilux was so indestructible it became the vehicle of choice for everyone from Antarctic researchers to militant groups in conflict zones. It worked too well in conditions that should destroy vehicles. This created a brand association nightmare. Your truck is famous for reliability, yes, but also for surviving literal warfare and being the preferred technical vehicle for armed insurgencies. Imagine breeding a horse that never dies, never tires, runs forever on minimal food, and can survive being shot multiple times. Great for the owner. Catastrophic for the horse breeding industry. Also, you've now got the preferred horse of every cavalry unit in every conflict zone. The Hilux is that immortal warhorse, still running in deserts and jungles decades after leaving the factory, worth more used than some new competitors. You've definitely seen the Top Gear episode, possibly multiple times, marveling at the truck's refusal to die. That episode has 15+ million views. Great, I'm curious. How long will it take for us to reach 200 comments here? Subscribe and let's make the Bobo community as strong as the Toyota Hilux. You know, the truck's durability exceeded its manufacturer's ability to sell new models to satisfied customers. Some Hiluxes from the 1980s remain more reliable than trucks built last year by competitors. Toyota built a truck so good it became an economic liability wrapped in a PR nightmare.